Hi everyone, today we are going to start with the methods of production. So what are the methods of production? They are job production, batch production, and flow production. Job production is where a single product is made at a time. Batch production is where a quantity of one product is made, then a quantity of another item will be produced. So there are a few different types of products. And flow production is where large quantities of a product are produced in a continuous process. It is sometimes referred to as mass production. So job production, what are the advantages? So this is where products are made specifically to order. For example, a customer will order a particular dish and the business will make it. But each order is different and may or may not be repeated. Okay. Other examples include specialist machinery, manufacturers that will produce a machine for another business to meet a particular specification, bridges, ships, made-to-measure suits, cinema films, or individual computer programs that perform specialized tasks. The advantages of job production is it's suitable for personal or services. It's a one-off product. As you can see, the wedding cake. Okay, it's usually specifically designed for different couples. So it meets the exact requirements. So workers, you have more varied job, okay, because each case is different. So it increases the motivation and creativity and bring them greater satisfaction. Okay, flexible because it's used for high quality goods and services, so it can charge a higher price. Disadvantages of job production because it's a special design for different customers. So this requires skilled labor, which is often used, and this raises cost. Then the costs are higher because it is often labor intensive. Production often takes a longer time, and products are specially made to order, and so any errors can be expensive to correct. Materials may have to be specially purchased, leading to higher costs. So because each wedding cake is different, and it definitely requires skill, their bakers to have skill to make different kind of cakes, to satisfy different customer needs, right? And then the cost could be quite expensive. Yeah, usually these special design cakes cost would be more expensive than the ordinary cakes you buy in the baker shops. And you have to pre-order, okay, because it will take longer time. Let's next see what is batch production. Well, batch production, it has a more flexible way of working in production because a certain number of the product will be made for different types of product. Okay, for example, a small bakery making batches of bread, several houses built together using the same design, furniture production, or clothing. So this is called batch production. Yeah, the advantages of batch production is actually give flexible way of working in production. Yeah, it can be easily changed from one product to another. It still gives some variety to workers' jobs. So, like job production is require a lot of varieties. It allows more variety to products which would otherwise be identical. So you see so many breads, cakes are here, not only selling wedding cakes. So it gives more variety for the customer to make decision. And production may not be affected to any great extent if machinery breaks down because it's divided into different batches. So if one machine breaks down, it wouldn't affect the other process of the work. Disadvantages of batch production. It's still quite expensive. It can be expensive as semi-finished products will need moving about to the next production stage. So it's not being done in one station. It needs to be moved on to the different station to make the cakes ready. And machines have to be reset between production batches, which means there's a delay in production and output is lost. So because they produce in batches, So you need to move and reset different timing, different ingredients for different types of products. So it needs some time to do so. And because they have different types of cakes, the warehouse space is needed for inventories of raw materials, components, and finished batches of goods. So this could be costly as well. Flow production. Flow production, so we talk about large quantities of a product are produced in continuous process, 24 hours, 7 days, no rest, because it's work that is produced by machines. So it is sometimes referred to as mass production because flow production can create high number of products. So it is called flow production. Why is it called flow production? Because the product look as if they are flowing down the production line. So the basic ingredients are put together and one end of the production line, then the product moves down and more parts are needed and so on until the product is finished and packaged ready for sale. So these are large number of identical products are made. And the cost of productions per product will be lower because of the high number of production. So what are the examples of product produced in this way? Include cars, cameras, televisions, packaged foods, and drinks. In fact, any mass production standardized product which is sold to a mass market will be produced in this way. As you can see, the standardized flavor products from Krispy Kreme, this is the original flavor. It's just produced with flow production, which has high output, lower average cost per donut, and is capital intensive, which lead to economies of scale by lowering the average cost per unit of production. Okay, because it's less movement, it also saves time for production. Disadvantages. The workers who work in this kind of system will be very, very bored. It's a boring system for workers. What they need to do is just operate the machine, switch on, switch off, observe the products, right? So it gives little job satisfaction, which lead to low motivation at work. Okay, and it requires storage, high amount of storage, okay, to stock the inventories, to stock the raw materials, and of course, these machines are not cheap. It lead to a higher cost. Sometimes machine breaks down. When machines break down, then it breaks down the whole production line and will have to be halted. Then the workers have to stop working and wait for the machines to be repaired. So how do we choose the methods of production? It's based on several factors. The nature of the product, the size of the market, the nature of demand, the size of the business. So let's take these three products as example. If a fairly unique product or individual service is required, job production will be used, which is the wedding cake. If the production can be mass produced using an automated production line, then flow production will be used. This is based on the nature of the product. Is it unique or is it standardized? The size of the market, the nature of the product, then the size of the market. If demand is higher and more products can be sold, but not in a very large quantities, batch production will be used. A wedding cake can be produced in batch production as well. If there are several couples, the demand for the same design of wedding cakes. And the product will be produced in a certain quantity to meet the particular order. But small local markets or niche markets will be served by business using job or batch production. The international markets are served by business using flow production. Krispy Kreme is an international donuts producer, correct? It's being sold in different countries. The flow production is more suitable. The nature of demand, if there's a large and fairly steady demand for the product, such as the original flavor donuts, then it becomes economical to set up a production line and continuously produce the product to use flow production. If demand is less frequent, such as wedding cake, usually people only order once in a lifetime, then production may be more likely to be job or batch production. Lastly, we need to consider about the size of the business. If the business is small and does not have the access to large amounts of capital, then you will not produce on a large scale using automated production lines. It's not practical to do that. So only large businesses can operate on this scale. Small businesses are more likely to use job or batch production methods. So at the end, you can have a look on this table. It's summarized. Okay, how would these four factors affect the choices of methods of production? That's the end for today. Thank you.
Like a Hellcat.